What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Talkin Sports with Jake. Hope you're doing well. Hope you all had a great weekend. If you're in the Northeast like I am, hope you stayed safe. We got a lot of snow out here, which I'm sure is turned to ice right about now. So be safe out there. Be very careful. First of all, it was some very sad news that happened last week. Bob Uecker passed away. Legendary broadcaster for the Milwaukee Brewers for a very long time. One of the greatest baseball men ever. If you've seen the movie Major League, he was the broadcaster, like the main play-by-play broadcaster for the Cleveland, at the time they're called the Cleveland Indians, when the movie took place many, many years ago. I think at this point it got to be over 30 years ago. He's very iconic for the role in that movie, just an all-time great broadcaster. And he's had some health problems for a little while now. He was probably, I don't think I've ever seen a broadcaster be as close to the players on the team, because he's not like like a guy like like Joe Davis or Joe Buck, where he's he was calling like games on ESPN or TBS, like a national guy. He was definitely more of a local guy for sure. He's been the Milwaukee Brewers play-by-play guy for I think over 50 years. He was for over 50 years at this point. And after they lost to the Mets, a lot of the players were actually very emotional talking about him. Probably because they knew he was close to the end. And because I'm not sure if he's actually ever seen a Brewers World Series, and they knew this might have been the last shot. But so rest in peace to Bob Uecker, one of the greatest baseball men of all time. All right, so let's quickly go over a couple of free agent signings in MLB. A couple that outraged some teams just because of the team.
I literally gave you 2 minutes to talk. Because you were talking about something serious. Now you're like not even an introduction. Yeah, what's up?
So as you guys can hear, Justin's with me today. He is in the back. So shout out to Justin. He is basically doing everything else that to make this show work besides my face. He's doing everything in the back. So shout out to the king, Justin. But the Dodgers signed Roki Sasaki. It's basically a minor league deal. He was capped because of his age and the whole thing of him coming over from another baseball league in another country. But he gets a $6.5 million signing bonus. I think we all knew this was going to happen. The Blue Jays tried. They made the trade for Miles Straw, who's a very, very, very bad player. He's got an OPS of under 600 the last couple of years. He's basically a minor league outfielder. They also get they got some international money in my deal. They tried their best to try and see him away from a Dodgers. I think they actually offered more money. But Sasaki, he simply wanted to go to the Dodgers. I mean, they're the best team. They're obviously coming off the World Series. They have a lot of guys over there. Ohtani, Yamamoto. I think you see the a trend over there. So he is now a Los Angeles Dodger. I mean, that team is as stacked as it can get. Obviously, they were always set to be before last year, and then they bring in Ohtani. Now you bring in Sasaki. Now that rotation is going to be just as stacked as the lineup now, with Ohtani most likely going to pitch this year. May not be ready for opening day pitching-wise, but I think at some point, pretty early on, we'll see him pitch. I'm not sure what kind of schedule he'll be on, but he will pitch a bunch for the Dodgers here. I'm sure you have Tyler Glass now. You have Sasaki. That rotation is just loaded, top to bottom. You have Yamamoto in that rotation as well. Now, there are some injury concerns with that rotation. Sasaki has never pitched more than 129 and a third in a season. Remember, in Japan, they pitch every 6th day, not every 5th day. That's why Kodai Senga 2 years ago for the Mets is why they had him on, they were using him at every 6th day, and why he had some struggles in the first half of the season. And then he kind of broke out in the second half. Obviously, last year was hurt the whole year. But, his numbers over in Japan were incredible. His rookie year, by the way, he's still only going to be 23 years old, but that's why this is such a big deal. His rookie year, 21, he had a 1.84 ERA in 16 starts. In 22, he had a 2.16 in 20 starts. 2 years ago, 1.88 in 15 starts, and then last year in 18 starts, had a 2.35 ERA. So the guy is one of the best pitchers on the planet. We'll see how he adapts to the Major League Baseball workload. He's going to obviously have to give you more 129 in the third. However, he's probably the 5th starter on the Dodgers because of how stacked that team is. So this is actually a good spot for him for that reason.
Is Japan the new DR?
It might be.
Is it the new DR? I think it is.
I think you're right, Justin, because the talent. Because remember, they actually won the Real Baseball Classic, the last time it was played. Obviously it ended with Shohei Ohtani striking out Mike Trout. The talent over there is almost as good as the talent over here. That's why you see so many stars coming over. Obviously Ohtani's the big one a bunch of years ago. Then you have Kodai Senga coming over and Yoshida Yamamoto, Naoki Sasaki.
You have Yoshida as well.
That's right, Masataka Yoshida with the Boston Red Sox. There's another guy over there. He's a hitter, maybe a first baseman or an outfielder. I forget his name. But I know a lot of people think the Yankees didn't go crazy after they lost Soto because they're looking to sign him next year because he's going to be posted next year. So it seems like every year there's probably going to be at least talk of a big-time free agent who's, yes, not a lot of people know him because he doesn't, play in the United States, but they're one of the best players in the world. Like when Roki Sasaki is one of the best pitchers in the world. Obviously, we don't really see him on a daily basis, but he is one of the best pitchers in the world. And 69 career starts to this point. He's got a 2.41 ERA. His WHIP for his career is .883. Like, obviously, if he's doing in the major leagues, he would be, probably the best pitcher in baseball. But, he's with the Dodgers now. It's honestly a good spot for him because they can deploy a six-man rotation because of how deep they are. You also signed Blake Snell. I didn't even mention him. I assume Kershaw will be back. I'm not sure if he's technically under contract yet, but he will never play for their team besides the Dodgers as long as he wants to play baseball. And he obviously has a lot of trouble staying healthy and isn't the guy that was winning not selling by MVP 10 years ago, but he's still a very good pitcher when he is healthy. I think very few baseball teams would not take him in their five-man rotation. So they could go 6, 7, 8 guys deep in the rotation if they really wanted to. So, if I had to guess, especially with Ohtani coming back into the rotation as well, they'll probably deploy a 6-man rotation for probably most of the season, honestly. I would say at least till I could see them doing it at least into the summertime. But Sasaki is a Dodger. And what really pissed people off is they signed Tanner Scott. 4 years, $72 million. Very good relief pitcher. Came up a starter in Baltimore. Actually, no, he didn't come up a starter. He's always been a reliever, but wasn't great in Baltimore. Started to turn the corner in Miami a couple of years ago. The last 2 years he's been really good. 2 years ago in Miami, 2.31 ERA in 74 games, 12 saves. This year between Miami and San Diego, had a 1.75 ERA, 22 saves, was nearly untouchable in Miami, had a 1.18 ERA in 45 2/3, only allowed 6 earned runs, had a 2.73 ERA in 28 games with San Diego, so not nearly as untouchable. He was in a little bit of a different role over there, wasn't closing as much, nearly as much, but still was very good. He's a very good reliever. The Mets are looking at him, so it's kind of upset the Mets did not get him, but he's a very good relief pitcher. And basically the rich get richer. And they also just signed Kirby Yates, who was great last year, too. He had like a 1.18 ERA last year. So the Dodgers just keep adding to the roster. People are freaking out. Look, there's no salary cap in baseball. You can have a $1 billion payout if you want to. You have to pay a crap ton luxury tax. Their luxury tax bill is insane. But if they want to pay it, that's their deal. It's not us fans' money. It's not our money. Their owner has a lot of money. The team has a lot of money. They're in a gigantic market.
Scary money don't make money, especially in baseball.
Yeah, exactly. So, the league brings in a ton of revenue every year. That's what, there's no salary cap. And everyone wants a salary cap. First of all, salary cap's not going to happen. I don't see it happening. It certainly isn't going to happen under Rob Manfred. He's obviously not going to be the commissioner too much longer. I believe he's got 3 or 4 more years. He's
got 3 years left, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know, because I remember in junior or senior year, so probably, after this season, it'll be 3.
Yeah.
I don't know. So it's probably around 4. I don't care. It's basically the same at that point. I actually think it should be the other way around. I think other leagues should not have a salary cap. Because it's like, okay, we see how it goes. I think what the true fear is of having a salary cap is that you get super teams because you get players who because players want to play for the best team, obviously, but then you also as you see with the MLB, that really is not the case.
No.
Juan Soto could have went to the Dodgers
Of course, yeah.
if he wanted to. He's
Of
good
course.
enough. He's good enough to be a Dodger.
Yeah.
And there's no salary cap to where he actually could have went.
Yeah.
But he decided to take the deal with the Mets. And the Mets are on a pretty good trajectory. I'm not saying they're a bad
Right.
team, but they're not better than the
No,
Dodgers.
of course not.
They beat the Mets to go to the World Series.
Yeah.
It's like it's a little bit. So I can't say the Dodgers are worse than the Mets. I mean, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
but that's a fair
Right.
but that's a fair thing. But like, I don't know. The Orioles are looking a little bit better than the Diamondbacks.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, we got my glorious king Gunnar leaving to go there. As an Oriole fan, I'm very upset, but it is what it is. We're just gonna be back to shit again. We need Cal Ripken back. I'll take an 80-year-old Cal Ripken.
I mean, they could build around Gunnar Henderson. They just lost Santander, but they.
I don't give a fuck about Santander. It's okay. It's fine. We'll figure it out. But anyway, but I think it just goes to show that I think it has less to do with the success of the team and more of the recruiting of that said
Oh, yeah,
team.
of course.
Because I think that's what actually stops super teams from happening. I also think there's some ego as well that's involved there too with a player. Like if I am Juan Soto, why would I go to a team to where I'm not going to be the face of the franchise?
Well, and right now he's not.
If you go to the Dodgers, you're going to if you go to the Dodgers, you're going up against Ohtani and Mookie Betts.
Yeah. When
you're beating Mookie Betts barely, but you're not beating Ohtani. He's the
No.
best player in the world right now.
Exactly.
Especially when he bets the over. especially when he covers the spread.
Oh yeah.
But like when you go to the Mets, you really don't have many people you have to beat. I think you could beat Lindor for the face of that franchise. You could beat Lindor. You're not beating Phil Maton. Or saying you are being Phil. You're not going up against Phil Maton. You're not going to hold a candle to him. You're not holding a candle to Pete Alonso if he comes back. I haven't been following that, so I could be wrong.
Yeah.
But like any of the other guys on that team, you're not beating out Harrison Bader. It's like, or you are beating him out. Excuse me, but it's like they're not competition.
No.
So that's what I'm saying. Like if the NFL instilled that, if the NFL instilled that, yeah, maybe like a Max Crosby would want to go to a really good team.
Yeah.
But why would he want to go to like the Eagles that has a stacked defense already, or the Browns to where he's gonna have to compete against Myles Garrett? He's not going to want to.
Yeah.
Then again, with the way the Browns are going, you might as well stay with the Raiders.
At that point.
But I think ego and recruiting is what stops a super team from happening. I mean, Mike Trout could have went anywhere.
Of course.
He could have went anywhere, and he was stupid. I love the guy, but he's stupid enough to stay with the fucking Angels.
Yeah.
He's stupid enough to stay with them. So I think it just goes to prove that having no salary cap actually does work out better, and I think it makes it a little bit more exciting, especially in a league that is considered boring. Can you imagine what would happen if you put it still into the NFL and NBA that already is very exciting, already very that I wouldn't say successful because MLB is successful as well, but more exciting and less boring than the MLB.
Absolutely, yeah. And to me, well, first of all, like I said, as long as Rob Manfred's the commissioner next year, that's not going to happen. So, and I don't know who they're going to instill next, but it's going to be a while till we get a salary cap. So, don't hold your hat on that. To me, I think they need a floor before they need a salary cap. To me, teams like the Dodgers and the Mets and the Yankees and the Red Sox spending all this money, I don't see how that's bad for baseball. Does it necessarily mean you're going to win the World Series? Absolutely not. But you have teams like the Pirates and the Marlins, and the Athletics have been a little more aggressive this year, but for a while, the Athletics, who have honestly held back the revenue a little bit, MLB still brings in a crap ton of revenue, billions and billions and billions of dollars. But I think it's worse for baseball for those teams just, not spending at all. I can't imagine being like a Pirates or a Marlins or fan. I mean, I think I know one Pirates fan, and he tells him like it's tough being a fan. They don't do anything. Like they run the same crap 7-2 win team every single year, and they just don't make an effort to improve. Like I don't know how they expect to improve. And baseball's still like basketball, football, hockey. you hypothetically could, if you draft well enough, you could just build a team based off homegrown talent for the most part. Baseball, you really have to spend at least some money to win a championship. It's very hard because it just takes so much longer to develop talent. So like rebuilds in baseball take so much longer. So I think we definitely need a floor before we start talking about a salary cap. But Scott is now a Dodger. And like I said, they also agreed to Kirby Yates as well. So Dodgers just dream off season continues. And like I said, Santander goes to Toronto. 5 years, a little over $90 million. He has an $18 million option in the 6th year that could make it up to $110 million. He's a home run hitter. Look at his last 3 years. He was a truly full-time player. Well, the last 4 years, actually, 110 games in 2021 with Baltimore. Hit 241 with 1850. That was in 21. And 22, he hit 240, 33, and 89. 2 years ago, 257, 28, and 95. And last year, in his first ever All-Star appearance, 235, 44 homers, 102 RBI. So he's got a lot of power. But he's not a huge on-base guy. Only a 307 on base for his career. He's got over 2,800 at-bats. His slugging for his career is .469, which is just above average. His OPS is .776, which is just above average. It was .814 last year, which was the best of his career in a full season. So I mean, he's a good player. Will hit a lot of home runs. I don't see him hitting 44 next year. I mean, that's by far the most he's hit in his career. He's also, Camden Yards is a very hitter-friendly park. Not as much in Rogers Center, playing in Toronto. Baltimore's obviously a much better team. They're at least a playoff team. Toronto is, I don't even know what they're doing. They've missed on more free agents than I can count. God, the last couple of years. They missed on Ohtani. They missed on Soto this year. They missed on... I can do this for 5 minutes straight. How many guys they missed on, but they
don't worry, Jake. They still have Vladdy.
They do have Vladdy for now. I mean, they have them.
I don't think he's that good. Not gonna lie.
I mean, he's a great player, but he's a great player. First of all, I don't see him extending. After seeing the contracts that we see Ohtani at $700 million. We see Soto get $760. These 10, 15 years. If I'm Vladdy, I'm testing the market. On top of it, I don't know why you want to stay in Toronto right now. They just have buffoons running an organization. I don't know why you want to stay there. But Santander is a Blue Jay. It's a pretty good signing for them. He's a power-hitting, switch-hitting outfielder. Not a great defender out there, but he can also play first base. And for love of God, they need as much pop as they can get. Because that lineup outside of Vladdy is just dreadful. The only other bat they really have is Bichette. He had a horrible season last year at the plate. I can see him bouncing back. He had a lot of injuries last year, maybe if he's healthy, but... we will see what happens. I don't see how that guy comes back because you can't really trade him because his value's so low. So you have to wait to the trade deadline. Maybe if you're out of it, and at that point he's a rental for 3 months. So you're gonna have a very limited what you get back for him because teams not gonna give you their whole farm system for a guy you're gonna have for 3 months. Then he's gonna leave. They don't know what he's gonna want in free agency. But you're not sure he's going to get re-signed or not. So I don't see how he comes back. And Vladdy, I mean, they'll be more inclined to... They could get a ton back from him, even if he's only going to be on a team for a year because of how great a player he is. But at the same time, if you trade him, you might be a bottom 5 team in baseball because you won, 74 games last year with Vladimir Guerrero Jr.? Without him, good luck. But yeah, Santander is a Blue Jay. We had Jose Leclerc goes to the A's a year for $10 million. A's, first of all, I feel terrible for the Oakland fans. As soon as they leave Oakland, they start signing for agents. They've added a couple of pitchers now.
Get fucked. Not gonna lie, get bent. I don't know how they're doing it. It's like I didn't realize that Sacramento was such a was such an upgrade from Oakland.
It's where we're playing for the next 3 years.
I didn't realize that. But no, I do feel awful for Oakland fans in general. I mean, they lost everything. First the Raiders, the A's were all they had left, and then the ownership screwed them over.
They also lost the Warriors too because they don't play in Oakland anymore.
They did lose the Warriors. They played in Oakland too. It was like they had so much stuff going for them, and Oakland is now just has no sports teams, and it does suck. Because they have had a lot of history there. You can argue that the best moments of those years were in Oakland.
For sure. But
think about it. They made a Super Bowl in Oakland.
Yeah.
They had
Raiders.
legends of the game. They had Lester Hayes and
Yeah.
legends like Charles Woodson on those teams.
Oh yeah.
And then the A's, obviously, you had Billy Beane in the Moneyball era, which on paper shouldn't have worked, but it did.
Yeah.
And it worked very well, almost to the point where they made a movie about it.
Yeah.
I hope people know they made a movie about it. It's called Moneyball.
It's literally called Moneyball. Yeah.
It's already called Moneyball. But it's like, yeah, it is sad for that aspect. And you're right. I mean, they just they signed Severino at one point, so it's like they're looking to get better. But it's like, if you're an A's fan, is it even worth it? Like,
I know. Yeah.
It's almost like, okay, who am I gonna root for at this point? Like, do I root for the A's, or do I just pivot over to like the Angels or the Dodgers or like anyone else at this point? Do I just become a fucking Ducks fan? Like, what do I do?
Yeah, I'm Ducks. Yeah, but yeah, it's very tough. I mean, they'll be in Sacramento the next few years while their stadium in Vegas gets built. So maybe the next few years it's not as bad because they're still in California, kind of like the Warriors. They're still the Golden State Warriors. They just don't play in base move cities. Once they go to Vegas, at that point, it's like you can't. It's hard to root for the Athletics if they play in Las Vegas and you live and you're an Oakland fan. But Leclerc isn't athletic. I don't even know what to call him anymore. Oakland, Sacramento. I don't even know what to call him anymore. He's been up and down throughout his career. His first full year was in 17. He's been with Texas Rangers his whole career. Had 3.94 ERA in 47 games. The year after that, a 1.56 in 59 games, 12 saves. The year after that, 70 games, 4.33. In the pandemic year, he gets hurt. Had Tommy John, missed the year in 21. In 2022, only 39 games, but 2.83 ERA. 2 years ago, I had 2.68 in 57 games, but this past year, 4.32 in 64 games. Overall, he's a good reliever. He's got 3.27 ERA in 350 career games. He's got over 360 career innings, 41 career saves. Overall, he's a solid reliever. Very good stuff. Him and Mason Miller in the 8th, 9th inning is going to be very, very tough. So this is overall a good sign. It's only for a year, not a ton of money. $10 million in baseball is not that much money. The Mets make a move, though. Also in the bullpen, we're going to A.J. Minter, 2 years for $22 million. This is a good sign. He's been a very reliable left-handed reliever for a while. Been with the Braves his entire career since 2017. By year, he had 65 games, 3.23 his rookie year in 2018. Rough year in 19, 7.06, and 36 games in the pandemic year at a .83 ERA, only 22 games, obviously a short season. And the last 4 years, his ERAs were 3.78, 2.06, 3.76, and 2.62. And games in those seasons were 61, 75, 70, and 39. So, injury plagued year last year, but was great when he was healthy. He's been mostly reliable when it comes to health throughout his career. He's a very good left-handed reliever. I think it's a good move for the Mets. And they also re-signed Jesse Winker, a year for $7.5 million, up to $9 million. He's a solid bat. His best year came in the Reds in 2021. When he hit 305, 24, and 71. Hasn't really sniffed that since, but there were a couple of rough years. He bounced back last year between Washington and the Mets last year at 253, 14, and 58. Between the two teams numbers were a little better in Washington. He also played a little more. Mets was a little more of a platoon. So that's probably why the numbers went down a little bit. Stats, but he's definitely got a little flair to him. I get why guys on other teams don't like him. One of those guys, if he's on your team, you love him. If he's not on your team, you don't like him. There's a reason Mets fans did not like him when he was in Washington or even in Cincinnati. He used to play games with Mets fans. Never really he didn't like them, but was kind of teasing them in a sense. But he played very well with the Mets down the stretch last year, and they re-signed him for a season. All right, college football national championship was last night. Ohio State beats Notre Dame 34-23. They are your national champions. They are the first national champions of the 12-team playoff format. This game was a blowout for a lot of the game. It was 21-7 at the half. And at one point, they were up 31-7 late in the third quarter. Notre Dame made it a game late. They made it 31-23 in the last 5 minutes of the game. Touchdown 2-point conversion in the fourth quarter. Ohio State made some mistakes in that fourth quarter, but Ohio State, when they get the ball back on 3rd and long, Will Howard finds Jeremiah Smith for that long catch to set up a field goal, which put the game away. I don't understand. Look, Jeremiah Smith is incredible. He's the best wide receiver in all college football. True freshman, absolutely insane. And he can't even go into a draft for 2 years. I think it's kind of dumb. GMs must be pissed about that. You can't You can't draft him for 2 years. It's like the one meme. It's Kevin Garnett. Where why would you show me something if I can't have it then? That's literally what James must think about when they see Jeremiah Smith just torching everybody. But he's the best receiver in college football. You know the ball's going to him. It's 3rd and 11. First 10 wins the game for Ohio State. Wins a national championship for Ohio State. And you play man coverage him with no safety help. That's one of the worst decisions in the history of decisions ever. That's embarrassing. Notre Dame had a good year. They have a really good defense. And Marcus Freeman's a great coach, but that's embarrassing. Ohio State gets it done. Will Howard, 23 of 31 for 55 and 2 scores. Judkins, their top back, 11 carries for 100 yards and two scores. Big game for him. Jeremiah Smith iced it with the big catch. Late in the game, Ohio State wins the national championship. Now let's move forward to
wow, Jake. I mean, you're really just not getting my input.
Go ahead, Justin. Go ahead.
I think you just forget I'm back here.
It's tough because I don't see you in the window. I don't see you. But God.
Yeah, I'm about to crash out. Dude, it was like for anyone who watched the game, I owe you an apology.
That's lost.
Yeah, I'm sorry that we had to watch that. I will say this. I don't care what the score says. It wasn't close.
Not really.
It was not a close game. I think once again we see another national championship that is essentially a one-sided affair all through.
The last few have been great.
No, they haven't. They all have been lackluster blowouts.
Yeah.
Where one team was clearly better than another.
Yeah.
This right here is exactly what haters of the 12-team playoff are going to bring up.
Yeah.
How Notre Dame is a team that went 14-1, lost to NIU of all teams, lost to NIU, and has proven that they cannot beat a big team in the biggest game on primetime. Yeah. And therefore they shouldn't be in it. For the people that say that, respectfully, of course, please stop talking.
Yeah.
I do think it needs to be adjusted.
Yeah,
I do. There needs to be an adjustment. I don't understand why people who are against the 4-team playoff and the 12-team playoff say that it makes winning conference championships not matter. But when the idea gets brought up, when I tell people an idea that conference championship winners should get a ticket to the college football playoffs, like it works in March Madness, they say that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So which way do you want it? Which way do you want? The only thing I could say about college football fans is that they will never, ever be happy.
No.
They will never, ever be happy. If you are an Oregon, Boise State, Arizona State, or Georgia fan, you fucking hate the 12-team you hate the 12-team playoff. Because if you're an Oregon fan like myself, you're probably saying, "Oh, we should have wiped the floor with Boise State." If you're Georgia, you're probably saying, "Oh, we should have wiped the floor with Arizona State," and we didn't get to do it because it was a 12-team playoff instead of a 4-team playoff, and we should have been in the finals. Yada yada yada. No, that's not how it should work. If you are as elite, as you say, if the streets are talking, and they're saying that you are as good of a team as you are, then you should not be getting blown out to Notre Dame. You shouldn't be. Notre Dame, if you're as good as you are, then you should not be getting blown out, getting blown out by a team that lost to Michigan.
Yeah.
And not last year's Michigan, the 5-8 Michigan team from this year. The god-awful Michigan team.
The 5-loss Michigan team, yeah.
Yeah, okay, sorry about my rant about that. But either way, this game, but truly, this game had nothing to talk about. The only thing to go away from it is that there has always been, since 1977 or 1981, whenever the fuck Joe Montana played, there has never been a stable quarterback situation. Riley Leonard is not the guy.
He's not very good.
He's not very good. If it is not a QB draw or a dump off, he cannot play the game. He's essentially Daniel Jones in an independent conference. That is all he is. He's not that good. That defense was supposed to be way better. They completely shat the bed, but the offense gave them absolutely no help at all.
Yeah, after that first drive, I fell asleep.
I give some credit. I give a little bit of credit to Ohio State. I do. Will Howard had a great game. His draft stock is going to absolutely spike like it's GameStop in 2023. and yes, you're right. Every single GM is probably crashing out at their desk because Jeremiah Smith isn't eligible. But Will Howard's draft stock is going to increase. I wouldn't be surprised if Jack Sawyer's draft stock
He'll be a
increases
first round
well.
pick.
He's gonna be
He'll be a first round pick.
He's gonna be a first round pick too because of the great plays he made, especially that clutch scoop and score against Texas.
Yeah.
But I think I'm not trying to shit on Ohio State here. I'm really not. But it just feels that this game showed more that Ohio State that it was more of Notre Dame being bad than Ohio State being good. Because because Notre Dame could not get out of their own way. No. They just couldn't do it. They couldn't get a stop for the life of them. They're running horrendous coverage. I don't even think their corners existed. I don't even think their secondary existed. They couldn't get anything done on offense. It was just a horrendous game for them, and it was and they were unclutch and could not perform in the biggest moments. So yeah, I am salty about that because I expected a good game. I expected a good game, but no matter what would have happened, it was still going to be a blow because college football still just cannot exist without like 9,000 blowouts.
Yeah, what they need to do, I don't mind them guaranteeing the conference winners a spot, but they rank them 1 through 12. Okay, don't play this whole confusing game like certain conferences get certain buys and Clemson doesn't get a buy, which Clemson doesn't deserve a buy. They're not great. The ACC is terrible. UNC might win it next year with Belichick now coaching the team, and it's how bad the ACC is. But don't suck. It should be like a 1 seed has a harder path than like a 5 seed. That defeats the purpose of seeding at that point. So they need to clarify this 12-team playoff. I don't mind it. I would have probably gone to 8 teams, maybe 10. I wouldn't have gone to 12. But the NCAA is never going to decrease this field because money, and they love money. So that's never going to happen.
I don't have an issue with 12, but here's 2 issues that I have with it. Firstly, this is why I say the conference winners should immediately get a bid to it because there were 4 Big Ten teams and 3 SEC teams. Then there were 2 ACC teams, and then a Mountain West, a Big 12, and an independent.
Right.
Feels a little bit lopsided, don't you think? It just feels very, very lopsided. Not every single. I don't believe the Big Ten is good enough to where 4 Big Ten teams belong there. That's not how it should work. That is not how the world works. You should not. A team like Penn State should not be getting shit on by Ohio State and Oregon. And be allowed to make the college should be allowed to make the 12-team playoff. It's not fair to a team like Oregon who went perfect all season.
Yeah,
you're punishing them for that. It's not fair to Clemson that SMU absolutely shot the bed and they're getting they're getting bounced in the first round.
Yeah,
like Indiana. Are we kidding? Indiana,
yeah.
The Volunteers, God. Yes, Tennessee had a good year this year. Not good enough to make the 12-team playoff. This isn't March Madness. This is not March Madness where it's a field of 64, and Tennessee could have that record and still make it. That's not how this works. And also, NCAA. Make the Rose Bowl the final. Making the Rose Bowl a semifinal game.
No,
a quarterfinal. You made it a quarterfinal. It's an embarrassment. It is the most historical stadium in college sports.
Football, yeah. College sports, you're right, yeah.
Not even college football. College sports. I cannot name you a more iconic court in all of college sports.
Yeah.
What am I gonna say? Coach K Court? It just got changed to that. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
I mean, look. I mean, there has never been a more historic neutral site
Yeah.
than the Rose Bowl. Why are you disrespecting it?
Yeah.
Like yes, having it in the playoff is fine. That's a good move. But having it as a quarterfinal game? Come on, dude. Seriously?
Yeah, that's bad. And look, when it comes to like how many teams are from each conference, I mean, I just want the 12 best teams in the college football playoff, but they need to rank these teams 1 through 12. I'm glad that they put SMU in over Alabama. Alabama did not deserve to be in. They just didn't this year. It just wasn't their year this year. When they were the 13th best team in the country. That's just, it's as simple as that. But they need to just rank them 1 through 12. Like for example, like Boise State was the 3 seed, and I love Ashton Genty. It was a great story, but were they really the 3rd best team in the country? No. I don't think they were. Even Arizona State, they put up a great fight against Texas, a team I didn't think that game would be all that close. And they won the Big 12. They deserve to be in. Were they the 4th best team in college football? No, they just weren't. So, like, they need to rank them 1 through 12.
No, the only team that I thought was the best team in college football going was Oregon.
Yeah.
Because they were the number 1 team going in. They won enough to where it was proven that they should be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they were undefeated, so in the Big Ten, so obviously they get the 1 seed, and that wasn't the best of Oregon in the quarterfinals. They picked a very bad time to just crap the bed a little. House is very good too, but we all knew that would be a high score game and a close game. But they just did not wake up in time for that game. But yeah, like a 1 seed shouldn't have a harder road than like a 5 seed. Like Oregon was the number 1 team in the country, undefeated. In the quarterfinals, they had to play Ohio State. If they had won that game, they would have played Texas in the semis. But then you look at Penn State's road. Penn State was, a 6? I'm looking at it right now. Yeah, they were the 6. So they get SMU in the first round. SMU, who barely got in. Their second game was Boise State. Again, they play in the Mountain West. It's very tough when they go up against one of the best Big Ten teams. Then they get Notre Dame in the semifinals. Like, they had an easier as a 5 seed than Oregon did as a 1 seed. And Penn State really beat nobody. Meanwhile, Oregon actually beat Ohio State earlier in the season.
And they beat Penn State.
Yeah, so that doesn't make any sense. They need to just rank them 1 to 12 and reseed them every round. Is what they also need to do. So that's something that needs to be fixed with the college football playoff. But to close out, let's talk NFL. The divisional round was this past weekend. The Saturday games, Chiefs beat the Texans 23-14. Texans come back and honestly, once they missed the extra point, I think that was it. They had the momentum. That would have tied the game. We would have had the momentum. Their defense was on all cylinders. And then Fairbairn, he's had a horrendous game. He's not even a bad kicker either. He just crapped the bed. He's got to be better than that. But Chiefs get it done, 23-14. And Commanders with a huge upset over the Detroit Lions, 45-31. So technically, Dan Campbell will see Kevin O'Connell in 2 weeks from Week 18.
They already are there.
That's right. They're beach in Cancun. They will see them in Cancun, not in the NFC Championship. Huge win for the Commanders. That guy, Jay Nail, that guy is incredibly good. Justin, I'm not sure if you disagree with me, but the only quarterbacks I would take over Jaden Daniels right now are Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, and Lamar Jackson. Those are the only 4 quarterbacks I would take over Jaden Daniels right now.
You know what? I do disagree with you. I would take him over Lamar.
At this point,
I would take him over Lamar.
I might. At this point,
what has Lamar done in his? Okay, yes, Lamar's 2 MVPs. I get that, but like, Lamar has had in his career the better coach, the better team overall.
Yes.
Like he's had weapons on weapons on weapons. He's had some great talent. He now has Zay Flowers, great talent. He can run very well. He has Derrick Henry. We all know what he can do. Mark Andrews had a bit of a down year this year because he's coming off an ACL tear, which is unfortunate. But even before, he was still arguably the best tight end in the NFL.
Yeah.
at his peak. And he still is quite good too. So it's like he's had all this talent and he's made one AFC championship.
Yeah.
One in his 6th year.
Yeah.
And he's also had great coaching too. Harbaugh's a good coach. I'm not saying he's phenomenal, but he's a good coach. Jane Daniels with a bunch of guys who people people thought that the Commanders were going to go 4-13.
Yeah.
People thought they were going to go 4-13. People thought that Dan Quinn is not the right move. They're going to absolutely suck this year. People were questioning the Jane Daniels pick, saying that he's RG3 2.0. Look at him now. And let's not even get started with his regular season performance. Now that he made Noah Brown look like prime Randy Moss. I mean, look, he's getting the best out of his players.
Yeah.
He's getting the best out of people that you didn't think were all that good. Yes, people. Excuse me. So people thought that Terry McLaurin, they didn't think he was bad. But you weren't talking about Terry McLaurin like you are now.
No.
No one's talking about him like that right now. And he needed a better quarterback. He needed a better coach. You know what? They needed a better owner. As a Jet fan, I envy the Commanders.
I do too.
Outside of the name, that needs to be changed next. But at the end of the day, your name and your logo doesn't mean shit if you bring home the Lombardi.
Yeah.
If you do it. So I actually think he's a top 5. I think he's a top 5 quarterback right now.
Yeah.
I cannot name 5 quarterbacks better than him.
I cannot
The
either.
only one that I could argue is C.J. Stroud. C.J. Stroud had a bit of an off year this year. The guy also had nobody.
Yeah.
The guy had no one to throw it to. All of his receivers outside of Nico Collins, and even Nico Collins for a couple of weeks, had fucking glass bones.
Yeah.
They could not stay healthy for the life of him, and he still put up some super solid numbers, and they still ended up beating the shit out of the Chargers and kept it very close to the Chiefs. So maybe Stroud, but Jane Daniels right now is a phenomenal quarterback. He's not RG3 2.0.
No.
All of you are wrong. I was right. What a surprise. I'm kidding. I was right.
Justin is pretty good with these, I will say.
I was right. I did call the missed field goal from Michael Jeter yesterday from the Notre Dame
Mitch
game.
Jeter, you did.
Mitch
Oh my
Jeter,
God.
I was like, oh, he's 7 for 8 now. He's gonna be 7 for 9. Clank.
Oh my God.
But he has been impressive, Jane Daniels, and I also just want to say that when it comes to this as well, it also is very satisfying to watch good quarterback play because all in all, the quarterback play this year has been awful.
It's been not good.
It's been not that good. It has been completely underskilled. Now you have a guy to where he's not just a runner. He's not just a running quarterback. He can when he has to, and you can build plays around him. That's what I think a dual threat should be. If you're like Lamar, and you see wide open people in the perfect pocket, and you still take it with yourself, you're bound to get hurt. So I'm not so. Yeah, the very long form, I like Jane Daniels a lot. I think he's the offensive rookie of the year. I think your top 3
He easily is.
I think your top 3 should only be Jane Daniels, Brock Bowers, and Brian Thomas. That's it for me. That's it in my opinion. I'm not going to get into Kyler Murray and how he fucked over Marvin Harrison, but that's just it.
Yeah, and then the Sunday games to finish out. Eagles over the Rams, 28-22. Rams made a run at the end there. They came up just short. Comeback bid fall short. Eagles with a win there. Jalen Hurts, good God. He's very lucky my team is stacked as hell. And the Bills over the Ravens, 27-25. Ravens score a touchdown late. 2-point conversion. Mark Andrews drops 2-point conversion in the final minute. And Ravens just don't get the onside kick. Bills hang on, and they move on to the conference championship. The AFC championship will be Chiefs, Bills, Allen, and Mahomes will meet once again. That will
For
be
the 8th time.
Exactly. I think it's the 4th time they're meeting.
We're gonna look back at this and call it like a historical rivalry.
This might be the next Peyton and against Tom Brady.
Yeah, it could be.
Allen and Mahomes.
It could be.
And then the first game is going to be at 3 o'clock, Commanders and Eagles in Philadelphia. And then 6:30 will be Bills, Chiefs, Commanders, Eagles will be in Philadelphia, Lincoln Financial Field. Bills, Chiefs will be at
Let me
Arrowhead.
ask you something, Jake.
What's up?
Do you think so far in this playoff run the Eagles have impressed you?
Not really.
Have they really had any games to where you are like, this team is going to walk to the Super Bowl?
No.
So then why not? So then why stop now? I think the Commanders are making the Super Bowl.
I think you're right, honestly.
I don't think the Eagles are good enough. They're clearly not good enough. When Nick Sirianni has to actually make an in-game adjustment, he's not good. But on top of that, you just said it, Jalen Hurts is very lucky that he has so much talent on his team.
Yeah.
How much longer is that going to last you? The only reason why they have gotten, for both games that they've played, they have gotten bailed out from the fact that the other team made too many mistakes.
Yeah.
Jordan Love had one of the worst games of his career. That's why they lost. That's why the Packers lost. Kyron Williams absolutely threw the game and probably bet the under on his rushing yards, which is why he fumbled twice.
Exactly.
If they don't fumble twice, they win that game.
Probably, yeah.
And we see Rams Commanders Super Bowl, but a team that is fired up by beating a team that was objectively the best team in the conference going into it, in the Detroit Lions.
Yeah.
They are fired up. And the Eagles should be nothing to them at this point. I really do think that. As for Chiefs Bills,
get your popcorn out.
I mean, yeah, get your popcorn out. I know people have differing opinions on this, but I'm still the Chiefs have found ways to win.
Yeah.
Always. I'm not going to say that this game. I'm not saying the Bills can't win.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say two things. Number one, do not expect this game to be a blowout.
No.
That's unfair and it's disrespectful to both teams.
Yeah.
It's going to be a close game. But number two, you cannot not give Tyler Bass the ball at the end of the game. It's not even funny. You cannot give it to him.
Yeah, that was not good last year.
How many times have the Bills lost to the Chiefs over poor special teams play, over poor defense, over poor everything? Playoff Mahomes is very different. He has done this multiple times before. Bills fans still have PTSD over having 13 seconds on the clock and losing in overtime.
The Bills have, it's crazy how they have like several games that the loss is so bad that the game has a name. There's wide right back in the 90s. There's coin flip. That was when they lost the Chiefs. It's there's Tyler Bass 13 seconds, which was the same game as a coin flip. Just every loss in the playoffs for them is just comes so famous. Yeah, it's crazy.
It's absolute. Yeah, it's bad. It's bad. And yes, I know the Chiefs have had a rough-ish year, but at the same time, they're also 13. They're also 15-2.
Yeah.
So what else could I say? And I do think, I don't know. I think the Chiefs can win.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
I don't know if it's going to be but I think the Bills could win as well. If the Bills, I actually gonna go as far as say the Bills have to win this year.
This is the year to beat the Chiefs. This is the year to do it.
The Chiefs have been the weakest they've ever been. Their entire receiving core is banged up.
Mm-hmm.
They can't get anything going on the run game because Pacheco's also not the same because he's hurt. They need to get it together and they need to win this. They are clearly the better team going in. But they need to finally show it. I think it's either you win or Sean McDermott's out.
Yeah, I mean they got to the AFC Championship, but at this point, if you lose to the Chiefs this year, it's like how much confidence can I have in you ever? At this point, it'll be the fourth time you lose to them. You're 0-4. It's no different than when the Yankees beat the Houston Astros in the regular season and then lose to them in the playoffs every year. It's no different. It's absolutely no different. But yeah, since we're doing, let's finish up with game picks. Justin obviously picks the Commanders, and then are you picking the Chiefs, Justin?
not? Why not? I just want to say real quick about the Ravens.
Yeah.
Can Ravens fans? I just need you guys to say. I just need to let you guys know something. Please shut the fuck up about Mark Andrews. In order of who is blamed, number 3 is Mark Andrews, number 2 is John Harbaugh, number 1 is Lamar Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
Lamar Jackson had once again a horrendous game.
He's
Awful
actually
game.
been very bad in the playoffs. Pulled the stat.
Here's the thing, Ravens fans. Maybe if Lamar didn't throw a pick and fumble on back-to-back drives, maybe you didn't have to go for 2.
Yeah,
how about
that's
that?
True.
How do you like them apples?
Yeah.
Maybe if John Harbaugh gave the ball to Derrick Henry.
That's something that has been brought up. That's a good point. You have one of the best goal line backs ever. 2 yards. Just pound the rock.
Yeah, pound the rock in general. We've seen him. He has punched guys in the face for stiff arms. Ridiculous. But they're gonna blame Mark Andrews. I feel bad for the guy because he's getting blamed for too much. Yes, you have to haul it in, but also I don't blame this loss on him. I can't.
No. I mean, look, he also had the fumble earlier in the game, so he looked really bad, and his playoff stats are actually a lot worse than I thought. In 8 playoff games, he only averages 39 yards a game, no touchdowns with 8 drops in the fumble, so he's actually been very bad in the playoffs. But Lamar Jackson is considered in the MVP conversation every year. He's won it twice. He's a shot to win it again this year, though. Hopefully it's Josh Allen this year. In his career in the playoffs, he's 3-5. He has never won multiple playoff games in this season. He has completed just 61% of his passes. He's averaged just 219 passing yards a game, 13 touchdowns against 11 interceptions. His pass rating is 84.6, which is a little bit below average. He has not been good in the postseason. He's honestly like Aaron Judge or going in baseball. He's James Harden in basketball when Harden was at his peak and he was doing crazy things in the regular season. The playoffs rolled around, just wasn't the same player. No, he has not being good in the postseason. That's something we're gonna have to take into account when we these guys when it comes to quarterback. When it comes to quarterback, he has not been good in the postseason by any means at all. But yeah, let's for the conference championship. I am gonna take the Commanders. I mean, the Eagles obviously have a lot of talent. That defense is great. I'm not sure if they're gonna have Quinn Mitchell for this game.
Womp womp.
They're saying he's hopeful to play, but not sure. I think he's got a shoulder injury. But Jane Daniels is just absolutely unstoppable. He's having a historic year. As great as C.J. Stroud was 2 years ago as a rookie, Daniels has been even better. He has just been absolutely incredible, and I think the Commanders will win this game. I think Jalen Hurts shows his true colors in this game.
Yeah, especially because Jane Daniels has done so much more with less than like a Caleb Williams has.
Yeah.
Yes, okay, Jane Daniels has the better coach. But Caleb also has like 9 different people he could throw it to, and instead he's like, let's just like dump off to Khalil Herbert. Let's dump it off.
By the way, tomorrow we'll be talking some Ben Johnson, and if that hire is gonna work out. But Bills Chiefs, this could be.
It's gonna be a good game though. It's gonna be a good game.
I don't like betting against Mahomes. I'm going to take the Bills in this game. Josh Allen has had a phenomenal season. James Cook had the best year of his career. He's crept into the conversation for the best backs in the league. The defense has been a little inconsistent. They started off not so right, then they were playing well, then they finished badly. They've gotten the job done in the playoffs so far. I'm going to take the Bills. This will be the last time I ever bet against Patrick Mahomes if they, at least against the Bills, if the Bills lose this game. But I will take the Bills. And the Chiefs have had a weird year. They've won a crap ton of games, but every game is really close. They've had a lot of weird endings to games. You won on a blocked field goal against Denver. You won on a missed field goal against the Chargers. You won against the Raiders because the Raiders center just snapped the ball at the wrong time, and Aiden O'Connell forgot to catch the snap. Now, you also had a very close game against Carolina, who wasn't a good team earlier in the year. So, been a weird year for them. But they've gotten this far. Obviously, Mahomes, Andy Reid, Travis Kelce, you get the whole deal. And Arrowhead is one of the best home field advantages in all sports. I'm going to slightly pessimistically take the Bills.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, I just this game could go anyway.
Yeah.
This could go anywhere. This game has the potential to go into double overtime for the first time in NFL history, in playoff NFL history. I think it does have a chance to go into double OT.
That would be insane. Oh my god.
But I think the keys to this game, God, I sound like a Sacred Heart caster, you know. Let's go to the keys to the game. But I think the key for the Chiefs to win this, their defense needs to predict the unpredictable. Yeah. That is what I think has gotten the Bills so far. I mean, let's not forget just the whole thing that Josh Allen has had, in my opinion, the best season of his career.
He has.
I think anybody would agree with that. But I think it also, but on paper, a team that has a receiver room that has Khalil Shakir and Dalton Kincaid and Keon Coleman should not be that good.
No.
They should not have been this far. But what I think has gotten them was that they have unpredictable plays. The problem is that's what the problem is with the Eagles, to where you can almost guarantee that's going to be a tush push, that's going to be a handoff to Saquon. There's almost they're almost afraid of play action. God forbid you do a fake in Philadelphia. But Buffalo, it's like you give, he's gonna get yards, but you're also now afraid of Allen, and Josh Allen can not only sling it really far, but he can also run very well, and he's an absolute tank. He's a monster.
Yeah.
So it's very tough to predict what they're actually going to do and get a true read on their thing. You can read the line all you want if you're a veteran defender like a Chris Jones, who's very good, but at the end of the day, you can only assume what they're going to run based off the way they line up. But the Bills will always manage to trick you in some way, because and they have the talent to do it. So the defense really needs to. If I'm Steve Spagnuolo, I'm doing 12-hour film sessions with them every day. I'm doing 12-hour film sessions where you're just reading the offense and you're just figuring it out. And as I said with the Bills, the way you win this game is that you need to first of all keep the game out of Tyler Bass's foot. But you also need to show some respect to Patrick Mahomes. Yeah. Yes, he had a down year. I've heard it all. He's had a down year. But as you said, is it really based off the things that he's done in his very small 7-year career? Is it really fair to sleep on him at this point? I don't think so. I don't think so. I'm asking you. I don't think it's fair to sleep on the guy.
Not at all.
So they need to show. So the defense needs to show some respect to him. But I think it's going to be a really good game, possibly the best game of the playoffs up until this point. But I'm looking forward to it.
Me too.
I think it's going to be a double OT thriller.
Ooh, okay. All right, but that's all I got for you guys today. Justin, thank you as always. And until next time, so long. Have a great day.
Bye.